Hey guys, welcome to Grounded Roots Healing. I'm Jason. I'm an alchemist, many other things, none of which pay any money. But I'm on here trying. So I've been the energies right now are difficult. So I've been thinking about what the reason behind that was, and it became very obvious last night when I was looking at the moon. For those of you who don't know, we're getting close to a full moon, and we're going to actually have here in North America anyway, we're going to have a full lunar eclipse, which means that there's a direct alignment between the sun, the earth, and the moon. And the shadow of the earth blocks out the light from the sun shining on the moon, which is why we can see the moon in the first place. The sun's light shines off of the surface and reflects to us. So that's going to get blocked out, and it's called a blood moon on top of that. Now, the significance of this astrologically is the alignment of these two energies. So the way I see it, and it has been, how I felt it, I guess, more accurately describing it, is that the sun brings a lot of external changes and input of energy, and the moon tends to take things away and bring things to the surface. The moon's responsible for your intuition strengthening. It's a lot of your spiritual gifts increasing. So when they're in full alignment like this, they're at their maximum strength. These astrological bodies absolutely have an effect on our energetic bodies as well as our physical bodies. So the sun is sending data packets through its beautiful rays, which is a beautiful day out here today. And the moon tends to stir up a lot of emotions and bring things to the surface that we don't want to face. Or maybe we do want to face them. But when they're in full alignment like this, you can think of it as like a door. A door is open. Fully open. So when the door is partially open, you can only move so many things through that doorway. And when it's fully open, you can move a lot more. Or like a garden hose. The tap's open a little bit and there's a trickle of water, or it's open all the way. And then I just got the analogy of drinking from a fire hose as a good way to think about it, because it's going to be intense. And I can already sense that it's going to be intense because it's already intense. Before we get into this, I think you should prep yourself a little bit. And just mentally prep yourself. I mean, there's physical things you can do that'll help. Like ground yourself. Drink a lot of water. I keep harping on this one. Bless the water and drink lots of it. Eat good foods, rest, because this is going to be hard on you. You're going to be getting a lot of input, and a lot of stuff will likely come to the surface, especially stuff that has been sitting in the background and maybe you didn't want to deal with it. Well, this is a major push. Like the globe in itself is going through a major push, and you're on it, and you're part of it. So this solar flash that's coming, you can think of it as a mini test run of this. That's the way I like to look at it. Like a preparation for the solar flash. So there's nothing to worry about, but if there is any old energy still stored in your energetic body, they're going to get dealt with now. So expect to be emotional. Expect things that you thought you've dealt with to come to the surface. Expect to feel poorly, physically poorly. Ascension symptoms like colds and headaches and sore back and anything you can think of, depending on where the energetic blockage is, can cause pain in this body. and and grumpiness and crazy dreams. There's another one. So I was 2 days ago. I was very, very grumpy for no reason. Worked through it. Then I noticed people in my life, other people, have gotten quite grumpy. I won't say who. And then last night I had the most insane dream sequence I've ever had. It didn't seem to have any logical reason to it. I remember most of it. Didn't make much sense. It was kind of like, I can't see any particular reason for it. I think it was just a lot of clearing of energies. So I slept really deeply and was dreaming constantly all night with this crazy stuff. Like I was sitting with Donald Trump at a hotel, and there was a secret group who had tunnels below the hotel, and then there was a whole scenario where we were trying to infiltrate this group's headquarters below the hotel, and then the dog was involved. A very Scooby-Doo-esque type situation where she was like stealing key cards, and it was hilarious. I kind of enjoyed it, but I asked Amanda, and she had something similar, crazy dreams. And then I asked another friend of mine, Christy, and she had insane dreams where she was stuck on top of a Walmart. It's just, none of it seems to be making any sense whatsoever. So I wouldn't read too much into it, but it is indicative of what's coming. So maybe you're just processing energies, and this is the way your physical brain is interpreting what's happening to this energy moving out of you. That's a good guess anyway. So, and then everyone's on edge out in this real world. It's insane out here. You got to be really careful. I just plugged in at a car charging spot. There was a guy next to me, and he got quite surly because I plugged into the charger next to him. It was apparently slowing down his charge rate by, 20% or something like that. So, old me would have said something which is not necessary. He was quite rude about it. I didn't like that. It got my hackles up. I don't like rude people. But I didn't say anything. I was like, oh yeah, okay. I wasn't particularly nice about it, and I think he could tell because he came over a little bit later and sort of semi-apologized in a indirect way. But everybody's just kind of rude. Just rude, and it wouldn't take very much for fuses. They're short, and it wouldn't take much to cause an argument out here in this real world. So be gentle with yourself, and just know that that's the way it is out here right now. So if you are going out into the world, just be careful and expect that something like this could happen, and be ready for it. And by ready for that, I mean don't react. There is no value in reacting to that. It's only going to cause more distress and cause people to be even grumpier. It's not going to fix anything. There's no way that I could have talked reasonably to that human at that moment and got him to see it from my perspective. So it was a waste of time, and I immediately recognized it. Even though I did feel my hackles go up a little bit, which, is indicative of the moon. I know normally nowadays it wouldn't even faze me because I know that it's a matrix. So, to that point, 3 deep breaths is a very powerful method for controlling yourself and getting grounded quickly. And when you do it, what you want to do is focus your conscious attention on your heart center. And my favorite way to sort of bypass the brain is to envision a pair of nostrils on my chest right above my heart center. And then if I'm visualizing that, I can't think of anything else. And then when I'm breathing energy directly into my heart chakra. And this is extremely powerful. Usually it doesn't even take 3, but 3 deep breaths is a good way to go. And then see how you want to react after that. don't let people walk all over you, but there's no need to escalate anything out here, because it's not going to help anybody. It won't. It won't help you. It's only your ego, and your fuse is short because it's frayed because of the energies going around. So just keep that in mind. Your body's going through a lot. Your brain is going through a lot right now, as well as your energetic body. Because when the moon is in full alignment like that, it's at its maximum strength. It's as closest as it can be to the planet. And it pulls, this is where the tides go the way they go. It pulls on your water. The tides bulge out because the moon is pulling water towards it, which means it pulls water away from the equator on the opposing sides of the earth, which is low tide, and where it pulls it higher is a high tide. So it's really stretching on your energetic body and your liquid in your body. And, you know, Luna is the moon. This is where it's derived from, because they've known forever that the moon has a significant impact on your emotional body. You can act irrationally. So, you know, arrest rates tend to go up during full moons too, things like this. So you just be careful. So your 3 deep breaths. And it got me thinking about how another aspect of how this matrix, this illusion works. So, it might be a little bit too long to explain. So as I spoke, the people who watch this will understand what I mean. So, this channel. As I spoke of the records being a timeline jump, or a timeline in itself, and each record has a copy of everybody on the planet on that record, and it goes from the beginning of time to the end of the time. So you envision a vinyl record, and then a stack of records on top of each other. And then as you go up timelines, energetic timelines, you're going up frequency until you get to the maximum frequency that your body and your energetic body, your soul, can hold on this, at this current linear sequence of events on the timeline itself. Okay, hopefully followed that. So as you are maybe vibrating pretty high right now, and other people are lost in this energy and they don't know what's going on, they're going to be completely afraid and they're going to react. It's your job to understand what's happening. Being at a higher timeline, you understand what's happening to you. Most people aren't going to even know what's going on. They're just going to be grumpy and snappy. So it's your job to hold the line and not lose your cool. But also, if you're at a higher timeline, that means that their soul, you're vibing high. That means that their soul, their energetic body, their consciousness is at a lower timeline somewhere else, inhabiting a body at a lower timeline. We're all existing in the same space at the same time, but their consciousness is down lower. Up and down, not real, but for the sake of argument, let's keep it that way. They're down lower, which means that the body that you're looking at here, there's no light in their eyes. They're not there. And with the way the energies are in the outside world, you're not going to be able to draw them up to see you. So, what the opposing team, Agent Smiths, sometimes they're called, they will, very much like in the Matrix movie, jump from one avatar to the other, because these are just empty vessels walking around next to you. Your consciousness is in your vessel at this high level, and they're empty vessels, and they can be absolutely taken over. So this is the method that the big D, the big devil, uses to jump in and affect change into you. So he will use other people in their ever so grumpy state to try to get to you. And it'll jump from one person to the other. You'll see as you're walking through, say, a grocery store or something, you'll be going along and someone will give you a dirty look, or they'll cut in front of you or bang their cart into you. And then you get away from that person, and next thing you know, there's another person doing the same behavior, completely independent. Because jump, this is body jumping. It's a very effective method. And you don't understand that this is what's going on unless you start to understand these higher levels of discussion where we're at now. So body jumping is a way for the opposing team to try to affect change in your life. And like I said, it's your objective to not react to this stuff. 3 deep breaths. I mean, I would go as far as to stay out of the general public as much as you can. I mean, you have to sometimes, but if you do, prepare yourself well. And then, like, before I go into a grocery store or something where I know I'm going to have to be interacting and I have no choice, I'll breathe deeply, deeply into my lower chakra, visioning energy coming in as my entire energetic body, and then expanding out and creating a force field around me. I'll do usually 3 of these breaths, and it definitely helps. It's a way to protect yourself if you have to go out. In this crazy world, it's only going to get crazier. So this affects you, it affects everybody else on their personal level. This can also, this energies, the moon and the alignment of the solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, it could have a very dramatic effect on the giant consciousness as a whole, i.e. the collective consciousness of the planet. And when these solar and lunar alignments tend to happen, usually big things happen on the outside world. Now, I'm not saying that's to scare anybody, but I'm telling you this in advance, that this is what happens. And if I'm right and something like this big does happen, then obviously I'm also right that you shouldn't panic about it. If I can predict it, then why would you worry about it? If it's predictable, that means that I'm getting messages that this is going to happen. Also getting messages that it's going to be okay. So don't panic. Stay calm. You're the new Earth leader. You're the one who understands how these systems work. Maybe it's just on a family level or a friend level or you and your dog. But if you can be that rock when the crazy things happen on the outside, you're providing a huge service to anyone around you. You know, when you can stay calm in the face of seemingly insane things happening on the outside, you're providing a huge, huge service, and you are fulfilling your role as a new Earth leader. So, hang in there. This is going to be at least a few days of this nuttiness. And, I'm going out in the woods right now, and I'm going to go hug a tree and sit under one for at least an hour. And then I think we're going to go back and even go for another walk, because this is the best way to keep when you're struggling with these types of energies, the best thing you can do, in my opinion, is to get as close to nature as possible. And, everybody has an option here. There's trees in every part of the world, or nearly. And, even if it's just a park in your local city, it's well worth going and getting in that energy field of the tree. It'll help. So I think I'll leave it there. Like I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.